गणेशाय नमः। ॐ श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरि ओम्। वक्रतुण्ड महाकाय सूर्यकोटि समप्रभा निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देवा सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुर्साक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे। Shlokas 1 to 4.
Yeah, start with.
ॐ श्री परमात्मने नमः। अथ श्रीमद्भगवद्गीता अथ चतुर्दशोऽध्यायः गुणत्रयविभागयोगः। श्रीभगवानुवाच परं भूयः प्रवक्ष्यामि ज्ञानानां ज्ञानमुत्तमम् यज्ञात्वा मुनयः सर्वे परां सिद्धिमितो गताः। Shri Bhagavan said, listen again, I shall explain to you the supreme wisdom, the best of all knowledge, by knowing which the great saints have attained highest perfection. Idam jnanam upashritya mama sadharmyamagataah sargepi nopajayante pralayena vyathanti cha. One who takes refuge in this wisdom attained me. They will not be born during creation, nor are they disturbed at the time of dissolution. 3 and 4. Mama yonir mahad brahma tasmin garbham dadhamyaham sambhavah sarva bhutanam tato bhavati bharata sarva yonishu kaunteya मूर्तयः सम्भवन्ति याः तासां ब्रह्म महद्योनिर् अहं बीजप्रदः पिता. My womb, Brahman's Maya, is the Mahad Brahma, Moola Prakriti. I impregnate the womb with individual souls, and all beings are born, O Bharata. For all beings that are produced, O Kaunteya, Prakriti or Mahat, total material nature, is the womb, and I am the seed-giving father. We'll also chant Om 11 times. So let's all sit straight, close our eyes. You can chant along with me. Take a deep breath in.
Chalo, let's start. So, what is Om? There are three syllables in this. Okay. A, U, Ma. So, again, we will come back to three. So, that is Sattva, Rajas, Tamas. There is Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh. So, each time we see something that has three, instantly bring that thought, oh, this is Sattva, Rajas, Tamas. This is Prakriti. This is Maya. And from this only these three emanate. So even the sound Om. So what is the significance of doing now? Chapter 2, when Krishna says, Nistraigunya Bhava Arjuna, means go beyond the three. So when we chant the Om, it is three syllables, then there is silence. If you observed. I did not tell you in advance because I wanted to see whether you observe it or you miss it. See, it is when you chant Om, every day you must be chanting. So once you chant, just be with the silence. Then chant, be with the silence. Chant, be with the silence. That is transcending the three. It's very simple. And all of us are doing it. But somewhere we are missing it also. Like they are so aware that, okay, after this I have to chant Om again. So you somewhere miss that transcendental feeling of silence. So all of us, when they say in this chapter, transcend the gunas, it means this, transcending to silence. And it's very difficult because this SRT, as I call it, SRT, keeps us running here and there or putting us to sleep. Okay, so let's understand a few things. First of all, this chapter has 27 shlokas. Okay, and it is, you can divide this 27 shlokas into 6 sections. Okay, you could name it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 or A, B, C, D, E, F, A, B, C, D, E, F, 6. Okay, and the first section is shloka, what she read, 1 to 4. Okay, it speaks about Brahman. It's about Brahman. Okay, second section is, it speaks about the three gunas and the basic qualities and how it binds us. So three gunas and its binding. You can write it like that. Okay, that is shloka 5 to 9. Three gunas and binding. Now let's go to third section. How this SRT combine with each other. So you can write how SRT combines to make it simpler. That is shloka 10 to 13. Now the effects of SRT, how it affects. Okay, shloka 14 to 18. Then shloka 19 to 25, transcending SRT. Then last two shlokas, 26, 27, to reach Brahman. How to reach Brahman or the ways to reach Brahman. So how we started? We start with what is Brahman? What is the power of Brahman? About Brahman. And last two shlokas to reaching or attaining the self or Brahman. Okay. In between, we have the binding gunas, how they combine, what are the effects of the sattva, rajas, tamas, how to transcend SRT, all this will be there. It also shows us somewhere that suppose we, it speaks about death also. Like suppose we die with sattva predominant, what happens? Rajas predominant, what happens? Tamas predominant, what happens? What happens technically means where do you take birth after that? So this we'll just, clear up the, the way we are going to study this chapter. Okay. Now, okay. See, all of us are, see, first we will start with a positive note. Positive note is, this SRT, Sattva, Rajas, Tamas, deals with the body-mind complex. Nothing to do with the spirit. Okay? So what is this whole composition anyway? It is spirit plus matter. We learnt in last chapter. Kshetra, Kshetragya. So it's spirit plus matter. Right? So spirit plus matter. Spirit, let's just leave it alone for a while. Okay? Let's deal with matter, which is really troubling us all through the day. So this matter, okay, is SRT, Sattva, Rajas, Tamas. It's ruled by, run by, born by SRT. Okay. Now, if you look at it like the whole day, this whole matter that you look at is the composition of the body, the mind, the intellect. Okay. Or you could say the body and the antakarana. To make it simpler, let's understand body, mind, and intellect. Or even simpler, body, mind composition. Whichever suits you. Okay. So this is one thing which we are battling with, all of us. Are we by any chance battling with the spirit? No. What is there to battle? There is nothing to battle. So then, what is our day-to-day stress? Day-to-day challenges? Day-to-day fights, contemplation on is this body-mind composition. Okay? Now, this SRT technically deals with the inner, the mind, and shows up on the body. Okay? So it's a psychological thing, more than a physical thing. Okay? So that is why I was saying that we are all technically not even battling the body. If you think about it, we are battling the mind. Right? So this SRT is like a, just imagine a knob, 1, 2, 3. Okay? So throughout the day, it's going 1 to 2 to 3. Then it comes 3 to 1 to 2, 2 to 3 to 1, it's moving. All beings on the planet, okay, have this SRT. It's not possible otherwise. Because all beings are born of Sambhavan Prakriti, out of Prakriti. Last chapter. Out of Prakriti, all beings are born. Correct. Now, once they are born, except the human, nobody has that knob. They are pre-programmed. Okay? If it comes like TRS, they will be TRS. If it comes RST, they will be RST. This is Sattva, Rajas, Tamas. I am using the short form. We humans have this knob. So we could be born with total tamas. When I was born, maybe I was TRS, maybe. But with self-work, with self-effort, I can change it to SRT. And I can make the predominant sattva instead of tamas. This requires energy and effort. That's all. Sounds simple. Huh? See, unless it was possible, it wouldn't have been spoken in the scriptures. We are trying to make adjustment in the subtle body, which is the mind complex, the whole thing. So to make adjustment in that, the major tools are mind and intellect. These are the tools, okay? The memory is there and the ego is there. So let's leave them aside. The adjustment happens in the mind and the intellect. Memory, we can't do anything, right? It's like a stock. So leave that aside. So the mind and the intellect are the tuning apparatus now. And all of us have this. All of us. What? The apparatus plus the tuner, the knob. Do you want to make adjustment or you don't want to make adjustment is your choice. Right? See, it is the body and the mind which makes your personality. So if you are happy with your personality, then don't make changes. If you feel, why am I like this? I could have been better. Why this laziness? Why can't I do this? This happens. I get angry, etc., etc., etc. All this requires tuning. Where is the anger coming from? Which guna? All this we'll learn, don't worry. It's coming from Rajas. Okay? So then there is too much attachment, too much, something too much, passion. So anger comes. Kamesha, Krodesha, Rajoguna, Samudbhavaha. Krishna told this already. So then Kama is desire and anger. Arjuna is asking, where do these two arise from? These two arise from Rajas Guna. So then understand these three like that knob. And throughout the day, make a list of activities. Don't make small activities. Chunk it out. Like cooking, cleaning, working in the office, interacting, social interaction, knowledge, meditation, all the self-work, yoga, meditation, reading, all that in one chunk. In all these major chunk of activities, which guna is dominating for you, you have to keep a track. But right now, you can't do it because you don't know what it means, which guna means technically what. He'll come to it. So don't start today. Just be prepared. Okay? Now, to make the adjustment in the knob, this is too tamasic. I want to be in sattva. All of us can be predominant sattva. Then you will say, no, she's simply saying it. It's impossible. No, but Krishna is saying it. We all can be predominant. See, we have the three seeds, right? We have the three qualities. We have the three colors. I'm not saying by sattva predominant, rajas and tamas will die. They will reduce. It will be like 6:3:1 ratio, average. You can make your own averages. But sattva predominant. So it should be maximum. It could be 5:3:2. But sattva predominant is possible because today you may have sattva only 1 unit. What stops you from making it 8 or 6 or 5? Think about this. We felt that we have no option in this. See, I have no option to change, maybe some one of my karmas, which is already given to me. The prarabdha phala, I can't change it. So I feel, what is this life? I have to live it anyway. Jaane do. Let us take stock of our karma and just live our life like this. Right? This is a very defeatist attitude, where we start feeling that anyway God has given me everything. What can I do? But if you look at yourself, full day you're doing something or the other. You're not saying God is making me do. You are only doing it. Very clearly you're doing it, right? So then you understand one thing clearly, that if this is the case, wherein you will be doing everything, then why do we even bring God into the picture? Right? But let us understand that some things are predetermined. Okay? But here, to change our personality, we have a free will. So what is the personality? It is basic genetics plus conditioning. Basic genetics I can't change, but I can change the conditioning. So the knob is, you see, genetics is little. It is the conditioning which is a lot, huge lot. Like I was 2 years old and my mom made me chant the Bhagavad Gita. Maybe that is conditioning. The child didn't ask for it. It's a conditioning by the parent. And when the child grows up and thinks, what is this? Why should I chant this? It's not earning me any money. Let me go and become an engineer, a doctor, and earn money. And that's new conditioning. New conditioning. So conditioning has the knob. Okay? So the conditioning is what we are going to manipulate now, individually by yourself. How? With knowledge. Knowledge will come through all the shlokas. My deal is, do you individually have the energy to expend on turning the knob? This is the most major question I am asking of the entire 27 shlokas. Personally, do you have the energy to expend? All of you will say, of course, we have the energy. Every morning we get up with energy, like maybe 1,000 units. Okay. We all maybe average wake up with, see, it's just a number. It could be 100. So I wake up with this bank balance every morning, all of us. Then how do I expend it? So I made a list. Okay. First thing in the morning, what to cook for the tiffin? Minus, some points. Okay. Then what to wear? I have to go down to leave the children for the bus, or maybe I have to do some work, or I have to go to college, or I have to take a class, or I have to go to office, etc. You choose yours. I have to attend a yoga class. Chalo. What to wear? Which t-shirt? Oh, that went for washing. Which to wear? Energy. Just watch this every morning, every day. You should watch this. How the energy becomes minus. Oh my God, I'm left with only this much. Next. Then inner impulses will arise. Your child says, Mummy, I can't find my socks. Okay. Or your spouse says something. Your parent says something. Energy. Just visualize this, so beautiful it is. Then again it's going down. But since morning I woke up, I did not do upwards. It was all tish downwards only. And some of you may say, no. First thing in the morning, I chanted the mantra for 15 minutes. Okay, plus. Then my spouse irritated me and I shouted at him. Down. Minus, double minus. So, see, understand one thing. When you climb the steps, it is not easy, right? It takes effort. But when you climb down, slide down, it is so easy, effortless. So that's why when it goes down, it goes double, double, double. 2 steps at a time. When you have to climb up, it takes single step. But I did chanting 30 minutes. Okay. 1, 2, 3 steps up. I shouted 3 minutes. 30 steps down. See, this is what we are all doing, right? So then you should write in a place somewhere, energy expenditure, E, every day. And see, how am I expending or gaining the energy? Starting units, 1000. Minus, plus, minus, plus, minus, plus. Like the yo-yo. Full day we are doing this, right? In this, I forgot to put the knob. I need the energy to turn. See, the knob is not like a simple radio one, okay? It is tough to turn it. Especially if it's going from Rajas to Sattva, it's going to take a lot of willpower and energy. So I have to conserve my energy. Okay? Now, next. Subconscious suppression of inner desires and vasanas. My boss is shouting at me. I can't shout back. Suppression. Lot of energy and anger and all suppressed within me. Minus, minus, minus. Then even there are more subconscious ones, like the desire to, it's all the senses, to eat an ice cream, to have sex, to, feel something for somebody, and no, not now, I can't feel this, tuck down. These inner vasanas, these inner desires that we keep battling, consciously, subconsciously. Energy going down. Not even aware. Physically, we are aware, certain things. But the subconscious desires that arise, that we say no. And then it goes down. The energy is expended in these things. Morning, should I get up or can I snooze for 5 minutes? Decision making, okay? I took a decision that I will sleep for 15 more minutes. Some energy went in that. Because you had to battle. That 15 minutes, okay, I can manage the thing, I can still put my child on the bus, or maybe I can prepare the breakfast on time. 15 minutes. You took a minute to think of that because of your responsibilities. Energy wasted. Which dress to put? Energy wasted. So when I used to say in the yoga class, fix a dress. All of those who join any yoga class, 1 or 2 should be there lying, always hanging there. We just use that only. No energy wasted. Right? Breakfast. What? Every morning, if you have soaked almonds, you just go, just open it, you eat it. Oh, today I will have not this, I will have that. No, he'll have that. No, yesterday I had, tomorrow I'll have that. It's good, but energy. No, but I have to just tell my cook what to cook. Energy. The cook requires less energy. You require more to think. Yesterday I made paneer. Tomorrow I'll make chana. Day after tomorrow I'll make rajma. The other day I'll make curry. Energy. See, I'm not saying good or bad. I am just saying how much you spend in thinking of things you don't need to think so much. So what do you need to do? Plan. I'm not saying that, okay, eat the same breakfast every day. It would be ideal, but that's not compulsory. You can have different things, but sit down for 10 or 15 minutes, make the plan for the whole week. Every morning, this will be cooked. Afternoon, this will be this. This is cooking. Now your other stuff. Your spiritual goals. This much meditation every day. This much study every day. This much walking every day. This much yoga every day. Fix everything. Take 1 hour if you want. but make the discipline and set it up somewhere. Then you don't have to think, oh, Monday, chana, red t-shirt, khatam. Story is done. Tuesday, okay, this. It takes just 1 second. No energy wasted. Now, you're left with a lot of energy. Okay, there's one more place where we spend energy. To feel the emotions and to think the thoughts. Like the child is saying, stomach upset, I can't go today to school. What is the feeling? How much energy drained? Your boss said, you didn't finish this. Oh. The maid said, I'm not coming to clean today. Energy gone. You can visualize whatever you want. Okay, based on your life circumstance. I'm just giving common ones. Then understand that constantly, like yesterday, Mumbai was raining like crazy. So Savita messaged and saying, from morning I'm putting the clothes out and taking it in, then again putting it out and taking it in. This is what she's doing. Energy expenditure. So much. For what? That's the fun part. So then understand like that, small things will be there. But continuous energy expenditure. Feeling, thinking. Feeling, thinking. Mind, intellect. Mind, intellect. Minus. And we are trying to tune this only, by the way, the mind and the intellect. When? Because to tune, I need a lot of energy. So, and understand one thing, if I want to change from the rajas to the sattva, or from the tamas to the sattva, not possible, from the tamas to the rajas, from the rajas to the sattva. There is no shortcut. So if I have to tune this much, I need so much energy. I am wasting my energy full day. Beautiful. So what is the solution? First, step 1, conservation of energy. Like money. Every morning you wake up with a bank balance. Almost every morning, unless you're sick. Almost every morning, full quota of energy. By night, it's okay, energy will be spent. I'm not saying don't spend it. Spend it judiciously. Do I want to spend here? That's a waste. Right? How we spend, overthinking. So I was giving this example that when we say, see, when we in the destiny part, we say, what is to happen now, that only will happen. Okay? That will only happen. Pakka. But in between, there is the energy going. See, suppose I am to buy 2 packets of something, rice, and 1 packet of dal. Okay. So I enter the shop, I go, I pick the rice, I pick the dal, I pay the bill and come out. The destiny was only this much. In between, I put some chips, then I put some chocolates, then I put some other stuff in the cart, okay? But by the time I reached the counter, I saw a woman who had only healthy stuff in her cart. And I realized, oh my God, what am I doing? And I took everything and I went back. I kept everything back. Okay? And then I went out with the 2 packets of rice and dal. This is destiny. You couldn't have taken those chips. But in between, I was carrying it in my mind, in the cart. This is energy expenditure, unwanted. Think of yourself. Could you do anything other than what you did? Suppose you did just come and sit for this satsang now, this session now. You wouldn't have been able to do anything other than coming here. You would have come. Before that, what was in the cart? After this, what I had to do? Should I attend or not? Maybe I should finish that first. This, that. There are the other things in the cart which you throw out and then on the session. The things that you carry in the cart is you're carrying in the mind is a waste, because it's not going to happen. Anyway, so it's a time waste. It's an energy expenditure. Be aware of these things that I'm saying. In your own life, this is personal tips for day-to-day stuff. So many times, oh, there is a sale. I got the notification. Start 45 minutes, 1 hour, putting things on the cart. And the budget comes to 5,000 rupees. You say, but this month my budget is only 2K to spend. Oh, wait. Let me remove this. Let me remove this. Let me remove this. Let me remove this. Why? Budget was 2K. This time, what you put extra? 3K stuff. How much time you spent? 45 minutes. Another 15-20 minutes to remove. So we are over expending everything, and then we don't have energy for anything. To move from Rajas, where most of us are today, to Sattva, it is possible. 100% it is possible. But I need energy. It is said in the Yoga Sutras, it is said in the Bhagavad Gita, 100% possibility of moving from Tamas to Rajas, Rajas to Sattva, 100% chance. You can make your Sattva predominant. Right now in this life, in a 1 year's time, you can completely transform and change from Rajas to Sattva. This is a guarantee. Only condition is conservation of energy that you need to tune it. You have to be aware continuously that, oh, this is a waste, this is a waste, this is a waste. I can't do this. Why? I'm wasting. So then what should I do? Do the activities where you feel energy rise, to make those activities more. So naturally, you always have more energy. And then you can take the right decisions. Right now, with Rajas, with passion, with attachment, we are making all our decisions. And we are saying that God knows what I did, why my life is going like this. Every day I have tension. Because all my decisions are coming out of Rajas predominant. Attachment and passion. None of the decisions are being made from Sattva. So I always tell, when you want to make a decision, 30 minutes, 45 minutes, 1 hour, meditate, chant the Lalita, Vishnu Sahasranam, whatever you like, sit in that zone till the Rajas is dissolved almost to nil. What is left is Sattva. In that Sattvic mana, you can take the right decision. Otherwise, not possible. But all of us can do it. There is no restriction. There is nobody who can say that, no, I can't do this. All of us can do this. All of us can do this. Why? We all have Sattva within us. Even if it is 1 unit, it still is there. That one can go to 6, 7. It's your choice. How? With energy. With conservation of energy. No overthinking. Should I eat 2 rotis or should I eat 1 today? How much energy? Unnecessarily. You would rather have eaten the roti or not eaten. These small things. Should I eat rice or quinoa today? Maybe I'll eat oats. Energy. Simplify your life so that in the mundane things, there is no energy lost. For people whose parents are cooking, or they have a nice cook who decides what he or she will cook for you, or you're staying in a place where the cooking is happening by somebody else, For women, 30 to 40% energy saved. Don't open your mouth. Whatever is cooked, chupchap kha lo, baat khatam. You like it, eat more. Don't like it, eat less. Forget about it. No energy wasted in that. It's so easy in our life. Dresses, fix and keep. For yoga, this, for this, for this, for this, for this. Finish. Don't have too many. Don't open everything in the morning and sit, which should I wear? I am going out. No. Keep this. See, all of them like to dress, party wear separate, sari separate, put everything in separate bags. Don't have 2-3 cupboards of clothes. It's not worth it. Maximum 1 wardrobe. Maximum for women. For men, half wardrobe. Then you change. You don't like, give everything and buy new. That's okay. Easy to decide. Just pick, wear. Same clothes will get washed, come back, fold, keep, wear again. It's so easy to recycle. No brain, nothing is wasted. These are mundane things, actually useless things, where we are wasting our energy. Now think of the little bit, extra important things where we are wasting energy. Like, you have to go somewhere or take care of somebody's health and so many other things, family, emotional issues, personal issues. All this maximum energy is wasted. Where is the energy left to transform your rajas to sattva? But still it is possible if you take the decision in a sattvic state of mind that I will do this. I will transform my personality from rajas to sattva in 1 year, 6 months, whatever you like. You can do it. You need that courage to take that challenge. Very little you have to give up for this. What do you need to give up? Wastage of energy in mundane things. It's so easy. What do you get after 1 year? A complete personality change. It is possible to move from rajas to sattva. So fixing this in your mind, that this chapter is not going to be one of those chapters which was nice, but what to do with it? Nothing I can do about it. No. In this, you can do everything that you want if you decide to, because you have sattva within you. Maybe not 1, at least 2 or 3 points of sattva. You just need to double it up. That's all. Okay? So the first shloka. See, basically, there are some things we need to do. We need to exercise self-control in various areas, right? And to exercise self-control, I need energy. Like, I need self-control when I am trying to control my anger. I'm very upset with the way things are happening. I should be able to control, but I'm not able to get that control. Why? No energy. That's all. That's all. Check where the energy went earlier, full day. Now I need self-control. Should I eat that pastry, that ice cream, or maybe on the weekend? It requires self-control to push it away for the weekend or maybe some other day and eat your regular food. If you are not aware, if the energy is low, you will eat not 1 but 2 pastries. No control. Not 2 but 3 rotis. You will not even realize. Why? No control. Why no control? I was such a weak person. No energy. To take a decision, to have self-control, you need a lot of energy. Where are you wasting that energy? Some people tell me, oh, you have control, yeah, you can control, I can't control. We are all same. We are all same. There is no difference. Only thing is I have the energy required to control it. Where are we expending the energy? Anybody can control anything. easily. Anybody can take a decision, right decision. How? With the right amount of energy. Now, suppose you have to take a decision, major decision. You require energy for that. You don't have energy, all drained. Doing what? Finger business, mobile. What do you do with the index finger and the mobile? Only this. So in some session, I know in this which session, I said everybody opt out of Instagram. I am anti-Instagram. Just deactivate it totally. It's useless. Because it only makes your finger move, nothing else. Not even your brain is working. You're clicking hearts, pata nahi kaun hai, hearts, likes, for what? Oh, I'm too tired, let me do this. But that's draining your energy more. Understand that life is like a game with levels. Now you're on level 2, suppose. You have to move to level 6. How will you do it? Look at a child. If you and your child play the same game together, start together, they will be on level 6 in 1 week. You will be still on level 2 or 3 maybe. Why? No energy. Look at the child. They have more energy now. That doesn't mean they have to waste it there, but it's an example that they have more energy, so they are able to reach from level 2 to 6. And we are struggling. Not possible, not possible. Everybody has the same energy. How you are using it, where you are directing it, how can you exercise self-control? When in the Tattva Bodha or other scriptures, they say, so even Yoga Vasishtha, the self-control, it's impossible. My God, self-control. How? Energy. Where is your energy? If you have energy, you need to pay more units, but you get self-control. And that self-control, 1 day, twice, thrice, 7 days, 10 days, 11th day, less expenditure for same self-control. 15th day, 20th day, after 1 month, oh, zero. Zero expenditure of energy for that same self-control. It no longer feels like self-control. Habit. So you, by yourself, created a new habit. And now it doesn't trouble you at all. You have to spend very little or sometimes nil to get it done. Getting up in the morning and going for that yoga class or that walk. Very difficult the first day. 1,000 units gone just to put the dress and get up and sit on that mat or wear the shoes and walk out. Oh, it's raining, let it be. Oh, it's too hot, let it be. Leave all that. First day, 1,000 units gone just to step out. Okay. Second day, 990. Third day, less. In a month, 10 units. I'm out. You're still left with a lot. So then cultivate a habit. If you want to learn a piano today, or if you want to learn a guitar, or a harmonium, or a flute, or whatever you want to learn. Tennis. Okay? Table tennis. How many of you play table tennis? Not one. I have no partner. So sad. Because table tennis, how many of you play badminton? Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, still less. What are you guys doing? Khelna hai, you should play. So then understand that if you, all those who, none of you have played table tennis, right? To play table tennis, first time, I did not know. I was 18 years old. I did not know how to hold the bat. Like this or like this or like this or something. Then the ball is going everywhere. If you've seen that ping pong ball, it's beautiful. It goes anywhere. You can't even see how it went. And then you have to serve and then you have to, give back. It is fun. Repeat it First 3 hours, 4 hours, not able to just hold the bat and put that ball. It is just slipping everywhere, all over. Repeated efforts. Now I can be talking and playing. It requires a reflex, development of a reflex in your vision. It will come with practice. It is nothing great, believe me. Other day I was standing with the kids in the doorway. Inside room, some children were playing ball, just like that, kicking around, And they kicked this side. And I kicked it back and I continued talking. I didn't realize what I did. And sometimes something comes and I just pick and I return it. And nothing stops in the conversation or whatever is happening here. So then somebody says, oh, wow, where did this come? Nothing, wow, it is only practice. From the corner of your eye, you can actually see it coming if you're aware. And because of practice of playing something, you can just do it. And it's effortless, believe me, effortless. So what is this? Nothing great. Again, I'm telling you, only practice. Only practice. Whatever you want to get to today, whatever it is, no need for TT, it's your choice. Whatever you want to reach to, keep that goal, start the practice. It will be horrible today. Better in a month, don't give up. Don't give up. Come what may, don't give up. Our tendencies, let it be. I can do only this much. I dislike that totally. That should not be our attitude. You want to get into one asana in yoga, suppose, as we have a lot of people who practice yoga. Let it be. Now I am too aged. Maybe I could have done it when I was 25 years old. Nothing like that. Everything is possible. You need the consistent dedication of practice by your own self. What we generally do is, like people who want to get into a Padmasana. I'll give my own example. Earlier times when I was young, I could put all these asanas, which all of us could, I'm sure. But at one point, it just lacks and then goes. Padmasana was impossible. Okay. Vajrasana, totally impossible since I was 18 years old. I don't know, ankle pain or what. Couldn't sit in Vajrasana. I dislike Sudarshan Kriya only because I couldn't sit in Vajrasana. The rest of it is beautiful. I used to hate Vajrasana, I would put 2 pillows and do what not. But consistent practice of yoga for the last 3, 4, 5 years, now Vajrasana is like a breeze. Aram se. Padmasana is easy. Everything is easy. But consistently, that focus was there that why can't I sit in Vajrasana? Why can't I sit in Padmasana? I have to. And then working around it, not only in the class, by my own self also. The class is designed in a general way, where everybody benefits. So when the tips are given for this asana, quickly take all those tips and sit down and in your free time practice daily. You should be able to do it. If you're technically in a good physical position, you can do it. It doesn't matter if you're very thin or very fat, it doesn't matter, you can still do it. Do not take the excuses, oh, my thighs are heavy. No, you can still do it. I'll show you people doing it. You can do it if you have that, that strength in your mind, willpower. How will you exercise willpower? Energy. For everything you need energy. And where is the energy going? So understand, today maximum class was spoken on the entire tips that you could receive throughout the 27 shlokas. So at any point you misunderstand, watch this session and get back on track. Session 2. Okay? So understand, these are the important things. Constantly we need self-control. Constantly we need willpower. I have seen people with great wills, okay, when they were young, now not able to have the willpower. 45, 50, 55. I can't do it. I can't do it. I don't have enough will to do it. They tell me I need help. Tell me how to do this. I want to do this, but I can't do this. Don't have enough will to do it. Where did that will go? It is there only. The energy is not there to power the will. Sankalpa Shakti. Without attachment. Take the Sankalpa. How do you take Sankalpa in temple? On the, keep something on the left hand and cover, and then do all the mantras, and then give up. Arpanamastu. Take the Sankalpa. I want to do this. Give it up. Surrender to the divine. Surrender at the feet of the master. Then it will happen for you. Right now, Sankalpa is not there. Ichha, desire and attachment. Desire and attachment, not letting go. That creates feverishness, rage, frustration, depression, dissipation of energy, and tamas. Tuck down. What are you supposed to do? Take the Sankalpa. I want to reach this. I want to do this. I want to do 1 hour meditation every day, come what may. Take the Sankalpa. Drop it at the feet of the master. Don't keep it. Don't be attached to it. And do it every day. Dedicated. Anything is possible. So this chapter brings us back on track where it says everything is possible. All you need is willpower and self-control, for which you need energy. Where is the energy going? In mundane activities and stupid things. That's all. So I conserve my energy, I exercise my self-control. Conserve my energy, I exercise willpower, and my personality changes. A complete makeover. That's what they say. Going to the beauty parlor on the day of your wedding, you look, your spouse will not recognize you. Who is this beauty? I was going to marry to that simple woman who I saw. God knows what happened to this one. Who is this fairy somebody has sent to me? This makeover of personality is possible through this chapter. This is the positive note with which you will learn and understand this chapter. Okay, huge introduction for this one. Okay, first shloka, Shri, you have 15 more minutes. How are we with time? Yeah. Okay. Shloka, first shloka, Bhagwan himself, Krishna himself starts. Param bhuya pravakshyami. Jnananam jnanam uttamam. Yad jnatva munayah sarve param siddhim ito gataha. Very beautiful. Param bhuyaha pravakshami. Param, supreme. Once again, pravakshami, I am going to give you this knowledge, best of knowledge. He has already said this. And we are like, Krishna is coming not again. But whatever was spoken till now in the last 1 hour was also said in so many sessions divided. Today it was compiled. So maybe Lord Krishna is trying to do that too. Param bhuyaha pravakshyami jnananam jnanam uttamam. Supreme, this knowledge of knowledge, the most supreme knowledge, I will explain to you again. So it's again repeat telecast, okay? But this time let's see how he goes about it. Yad jnatva, knowing which, okay? Yad jnatva is knowing which. Munayaha sarve, all the munis, okay? Param siddhim mitogata, they attain the state of perfection. Supreme perfection. Param siddhim, no? Param siddhim itogataha. They will attain the state of perfection. Who? Muni. Who is the Muni? The one who does manana is the Muni. Now each of us have to think, what manana we are doing? What is manana? Manana is contemplation. When the Muni is sitting with the knowledge, okay, whatever he heard from the master, he's sitting, the sage or the Muni is sitting and doing manana. So anybody who has done right Shravana can do right manana. Okay? Suppose I didn't, now suppose 1 hour you didn't hear properly. Then you watch the repeat session, okay. But earlier times it was no repeat, no? So the master said all the knowledge and then they were supposed to listen carefully. Shrunu, that's what Krishna keeps saying. Shrunu me. So listen. After listening, what to do with it? Sit down and contemplate. Manana. That is a Muni. Once there is enough contemplation, then there is a transformation. Because in the meditation, see, once there is contemplation, then you can meditate, which is Nididhyasana. So Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana. Nididhyasana is technically translated as assimilation also, but rather we would say meditation, dhyana. So Shravana, Manana, dhyana also. Now we are sitting in meditation directly. Where is that state of transcendental silence gone? Right? Because Shravana was missing, no manana is happening, no dhyana is possible. In Vedanta, Shravana, Manana, Dhyana or Nididhyasana are the steps. We are saying, forget the Shravan, Manana, let's get into meditation everywhere on Google and YouTube. That's the thing today. Come on, let's sit down and meditate. What we will meditate? It is not possible. It is not possible to, actually enter into any state. Even Savikalpa, Nirvikalpa meditation is not possible. Why? Because there is no Shravana. So then he is saying, when he says Muni, we felt okay. He is speaking about some Muni somewhere. All of us can be Muni. All of us. Again, every step we are going to be together on the same page. All of us can be Muni if I did right listening. Now, if you heard properly, you listen carefully, you can just close your eyes and reflect on everything and then go into that meditative state and the decision happens. Why? So much energy is left. And the decision just happens. No stress, no strain. Okay? Now, there was one thing that I had written before I close this one. Is right Shravana leads to right. I don't know where I kept it, but I will tell you next time. No worries if I don't find it. It is here. Okay. So without, no Shravana is possible without a guru or a master or a mentor. Okay. No Shravana is possible without a mentor or a guru. Okay. No Manana is possible without Shravana. Step 2. Step 1 was Shravana and Guru. Okay. Step 2, the words are same. No Shravana possible without a Guru. Only 2 words are changing in this. Shravana, Guru. Next, step 2, Manana, not possible without Shravana. Correct? Third step. Now you understand that no knowledge, no meditation, no dhyana can blossom without grace. Because in meditation, you are wisdom. So you could either write meditation or you could write knowledge. It's the same. No knowledge can blossom without grace. Okay? No grace is possible without gratitude. Okay. Now, no gratitude is possible without Chitta Shuddhi. Chitta Shuddhi is cleaning the inner tools. No Chitta Shuddhi is possible without Karma Yoga. What is Karma Yoga? Not only doing some physical seva once in a while. It is the state where I'm non-attached to the fruits of my actions. So it's like a service. I'm just doing. I'm not interested in the fruits. Okay? Now, no Karma Yoga is possible without detachment to fruits. That's what I said. So, no Karma Yoga, you can write KY. Don't write Karma Yoga and waste your energy. No KY is possible without detachment, which is also called Vairagya. In Yoga Sutras and Bhagavad Gita and Tattva Bodha and all these places. Okay? No Vairagya or no detachment is possible without Viveka. Viveka is what? Discrimination of what is right and wrong, technically. Okay? Like, should I meditate or should I eat that pastry? We have the discrimination, but technical way. See, now no Viveka is possible without a guru. So, did you not come back to Guru? Step 1 to step 9, back to Guru. So, no Shravana possible without Guru and no Viveka possible without Guru. Okay? What does the Guru do? Two times he is appearing in this chart. What is the role of a Guru? What is the role of a mentor? First role of the mentor is to give instructions. Second is to give guidance. Most two important things. First is to give instructions and guidance. What is the role of the seeker? To listen to the instructions, to follow the instructions, and to seek guidance. That's it. It is very simple. Guru said this, mentor said this. Do it. Just do it. Don't think and waste your energy. Just do it. Then follow it. And then there is confusion, seek guidance. It's very simple steps. And the main instruction which could come from Lord Krishna or anybody is, if you're doing the Yoga Sutras, it will be Yama Niyama. Okay? Do's and don'ts, disciplines. If it is Bhagavad Gita, 20 values of chapter 13. Okay? And if you're following Upanishads, Shat Sampatti. Sham, Dam, Uparati, Titiksha, Shraddha, Samadhan. 6. So all these are different scriptures speaking of the same thing. But for all this, we need that energy. Right? So you can become a Muni. Nothing to worry about that. Okay? Only thing is you need to, have value for what you are acquiring or what you acquired already. We just take it and put it in that safe. Like we keep our diamonds. We are not using day to day. Day to day, we are still using this, unwanted things that we are not supposed to use. The knowledge is supposed to be used for utilization, literally. Like I keep the diamond on me all the time. Diamond of Viveka, diamond of Vairagya, diamond of self-control, diamond of Sankalpa. Oh, all that is there. I got it, 20 years before I got it from my Guru. It's all lying in the cupboard nicely. What a waste. So you need to understand the value of what you are getting now so that The more you value it, the more gratitude will come out of you. The more gratitude you feel, the more grace you get. And the more grace you get, the more gratitude you feel. And then it's a beautiful cycle. This cycle is worth gratitude to grace to gratitude to grace. And everybody says, oh, you're too lucky. Of course, gratitude and grace cycle is going on. Gratitude cannot be practiced. Trust me, believe me. We cannot practice it. It's an emotion. You will feel it. You will feel it. And we all felt it. Maybe you were, suddenly fallen down and a lot of pain, and somebody lifted you. That moment, the gratitude is totally felt. You can't say, okay, thank you, and go. Not possible. Not possible. You will feel gratitude. This feeling of gratitude will bring grace. And as soon as grace is showered, you feel more gratitude. And because you feel more gratitude, there is more grace. The feeling of gratitude will come when you see, when you learn to change your vision and you see the beauty of what you possess today. The good things that people always keep writing, the gratitude points and all, it's useful because I have to sit 30 minutes to think of one gratitude point at sometimes. What did I feel good about today? Imagine 24 hours and no gratitude felt throughout the day. How will you get the grace? And grace is available continuously. We are not able to tap. Why? No gratitude. Why no gratitude? Sulking in our, troubles all the time. I am tired and troubled with my stuff. It's always about me and mine. If you look outside, like somebody saw somebody without legs, on a wheelchair, instant gratitude came in. God, I know I have knee pain and leg pain and irritation and some stuff, but I still have legs to walk. It should come. You can't now feel it after somebody said it. It should come to you. Somebody is walking. Okay, they're walking fast. At least I'm able to walk. Somebody is running. I'm able to walk. So many things to feel good about through the day. If we step out of our vision of our own self-obsession, we will see 1,000 things to feel gratitude about. And eventually start feeling it also. Once you feel gratitude, grace is like pouring on you. It's just like a window I opened and the sunlight is in. Gratitude brings grace. Grace is ever available. Okay, if I keep complaining, I keep complaining, I keep complaining. 1 window, 2 window, 3 window, grace is far away now. Every single complaint that comes out of your mouth is a closed window to grace. And that could be a quote. You can make it a quote now. Every single, what was it? It was just a flow. You can watch the repeat. So that is how it works. Okay. Understand that every single complaint is a closed window. Every single complaint is a closed window to grace. It will close. Because I complained, I closed. I complained, I closed. I felt gratitude, it opened. I felt gratitude, it opened. So every feeling of gratitude is a window opening to grace. Imagine, it is as simple. Just step out of your own self for some time during the day. Okay? So with this thought, okay, only one shloka taken, but understood, I feel a lot, hopefully. We'll touch on this a little bit before we move into shloka 2 next time. We will take it step by step. I think internet issue.
Can you hear?
Now? Okay, yesterday also this happened. Each time yesterday in Karma Yoga session, I said, it's a flow, you know, and suddenly nobody could hear for 30 seconds. Today also, it was the same thing is happening. It's fun. It's fun, you know. Anyway, we'll close the session and next time we'll take the second. So, I was saying that we'll take it step by step. I want all of you all to be able to change that troubling personality from Rajas or Tamas, wherever you are, towards Sattva. Okay? Cha.
Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Okay, thank you so much. Stay blessed, everybody. Bye-bye.